So because Annie, has her finger on the pulse of Chicago restaurants and nightlife and that kind of thing, I actually used her as a resource for me and my wife. So put you on the spot, Annie. What are your three of the best brunch spots in Chicago right now? Today we're here with Annie, fan of luxury. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background in general? How you got started in real estate, what you were doing before, because I know you have a legal background.
Yeah, sure. So I've now lived in Chicago 10 years. The first 3 of those years I moved to Chicago for law school. So I went to DePaul University, and after I graduated law school, went straight into real estate. I grew up in a family of real estate investors. We loved real estate, so it was just a perfect transition for me. I've always been in the investment space, and now luxury as well. That's just an area that I know a lot about. I grew up in it, and that's really what brought me into real estate here in Chicago. Part of my message out there is I know the neighborhoods. I eat in those neighborhoods. I go out in those neighborhoods. So I can tell you where the hottest spots are, what are the newest restaurants that opened this week, this month, what's coming in the coming months. I really take an interest in where I live. Right now, I would say Sierra, love the vibe there. Beatrix has always been a solid choice, continues to be a solid choice in both the Fulton Market and the River North. Beatnik on the River is a great spot anytime. Happy hours there, brunch, whenever, especially right now in the summer, you want to be in the River Walk, so you want to do the Beatnik on the River.
Beautiful. So Annie, what would you say is the one neighborhood that you find most people being attracted to these days, especially with bars, nightlife, that kind of thing, coming into that particular neighborhood?
Sure. I think now, for a little bit, a lot of people were going into the West Loop, still a very, very strong neighborhood, Fulton Market, great neighborhood. But what I see a lot now too is people coming into the River West, Westtown area. I happen to live in Westtown, and I've seen it change. Yep, in the last couple of years, and there's an article that Craig came out with that says Chicago Avenue is really the new area for all the restaurants. It's kind of almost like the new restaurant row. There's been a ton of new restaurants that have opened up in the last year.
For example, Vajra.
Yep, Vajra, which I was there last night.
I was there 2 nights ago. Zhang just opened up.
Yep,
Korean restaurant.
Beatnik is there.
Yep.
Bar Biscay. Bar Biscay.
Yeah.
There's just been a ton of new things, and I think there's a seafood boil that's opening up on our street.
Yes.
I think there's like a Thai food restaurant that opened up recently.
I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, there's been just a ton, especially in this year, so I think it's going to continue to do that, and that's great for us.
So when a new restaurant opens up, and it's like a high-end restaurant, you go in by yourself and you sit down with a notepad.
Yeah.
And you order a slew of things on the menu, and the chef will take notice you go in before it opens, and then you do it 3 days in a row. And you tip 40% at the end of it, and you will be VIP at that restaurant forever.
Have you tried this before?
No, but I've been meaning to. It's a Tim Ferriss tip.
Oh.
That I've been meaning to try. You just sit down, notepad, the chef will take notice.
Because they think you're
reviewing. You go in at like 4:30, 5 o'clock before like the rush comes in. You sit down, you take a few notes, you order a bunch of stuff on the menu. You try out a bunch of stuff, and then you come in 3 days in a row. Do the same thing. Tip 40%, and apparently that you're set.
Sounds like an expensive way to become a regular.
Yeah, and especially if it's a high-end shop, but just a little tip from the pro.
That's you can get that in my mind.
Love it.